Hello, everybody. We have 5 minutes of the webinar, so I'm going to pause the recording and I'm going to start it when it's like closer. Hello, everybody. How is it going?
Hey, Megan, how you doing?
It's going good.
Yeah. So, looks like you had a good weekend, I heard, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ready to move out, huh?
Yeah. Do you have the music on or something?
I'm in another Zoom meeting on my iPad, so that's
Oh,
what's
okay.
happening.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. So,
Well, it's
Megan,
good to see you.
so basically, when we're done with the webinar meetings in January, you're gonna have them again in the month of February, correct?
I'm thinking about it. Would you come?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely will.
Well, excellent. I would love to have you.
All right, thanks.
Welcome everybody that's joining. If you want to mute up, take off your video. We're gonna get started in just a minute. It's so good to see all of you guys. And then towards the end, I can have you, if you want, you can unmute, you can share some questions and I'll help you kind of plan out your goals, which will be fun. If you are a note taker, like I am, a pretty avid note taker, in the chat, I just put a notes document. So feel free to click on it. And if you click on it, I'm going to start sharing my screen. So when you click on the link in the chat, what will come up is this page which says copy document. And would you like to make a copy of the 3 steps to goal achievement worksheet? You'll click make a copy and this will come on. It's pretty cool. So awesome. And where that C is, you can delete that. That was just a typo. It's so good to see all of you. I'm gonna go ahead and put those notes in the chat again because we got people joining. I'm so excited to see all of you. This is so awesome. All right, guys, let's take like 30 more seconds. Go ahead and open up that document. And what I like to do is I like to have my presentation and then I like to have my notes simultaneously so you can see and hear me, but also take notes if you want. Totally optional. And I'll keep adding people as people come in. This is awesome. All right. Who is ready? This is my first webinar of 2022, and I think it's going to be the first of many. So I'm really excited that you guys are here. Let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to the 3 steps to goal achievement. I am so excited that you guys are here again. Today we are going to be talking about how to actually put your goals into practice and make them happen this year. So for those of you that don't know me, hey, I'm Megan, and I'm the founder of the Career Fulfillment Initiative, and I am a causal coach. So if you're not familiar with causal coaching is what happens when you actually get to the root cause of someone's problem and you help them solve it. So for instance, if you are having trouble maybe waking up in the morning, some people could solve that problem by buying a million alarm clocks and drinking some water before you go to bed. What I like to do is I like to find the cause of why you might not be getting up in the morning, which could be something like you are having trouble going to sleep at night because you're worrying about the following day. You might not be super fulfilled in your job. So you're looking and it's harder for you to get motivated to get up and get out the door. Depending on what that is, I help you get to the root cause of it and change the way that you think about things so it makes your life a little bit easier and better. And I primarily help high achievers to end up joining, enjoying their jobs again. So that is what I do. Now, if you are in this webinar, I will let you know you are in the right place if you are one of these 6 things. If you are really new to setting goals and you haven't done them before, this isn't something that's inherently taught in schools, which I would love to change. But if you've never really set a goal before, tonight is for you. If you are the kind of person who is ready to stop maybe making goals so hard to accomplish and you want a process to make things a little bit easier, if you need a plan to get these goals accomplished, this webinar is for you. If you are like me and like many people who are high achievers and you have a lot of goals that you want to achieve in 2022, and if you are open and if you are looking for a new approach to your goals, I know many times in school or in businesses, we set SMART goals. This is very different than the typical SMART goal. And if you're looking for a different approach, tonight is going to be for you. And if you just want to accomplish your goals faster, if you want to get your results faster and faster each time, you're in the right place. Now, the reason why I decided to actually do this webinar tonight is I was listening to a podcast and I heard a pretty sad statistic. In the US, I'm sure, as you guys all know, a pretty common goal setting practice is to set a New Year's resolution. And as we set New Year's resolutions, we are trying to accomplish the goal for the following year. And only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's resolution. It was a study done by Stanford, I believe. And when I heard that, I was very surprised and realizing that I had a process to help people actually accomplish their goals. I figured this would be the perfect time to do a webinar like this. So I'm really glad that you guys are here. Throughout this webinar, I'm going to tell you exactly when to start filling out the notes page that I've shared in the chat. But for now, just follow along. I am going to give you an overview of the problems that I've seen when people are setting goals. And then we're going to actually talk about the 3 steps that actually work when you are trying to set your goals. Then you are going to tonight apply what you are learning to your goal. So one of the goals that you are setting tonight, you are actually going to apply and create action steps that you can start as soon as tonight or as soon as this week. And last but not least, you're going to have an opportunity to ask questions, get some answers, and that is going to be the call for tonight. Also, I know that I mentioned the Career Fulfillment Initiative at the beginning of the call, so I'm going to get into that towards the end, and then we will answer some questions. So I'm not going to talk about the program at all. We're just going to get right into goal setting. So you might be wondering, why is it only 8% of people actually achieve their resolutions? There are lots of problems that come into play when you are setting goals and the things that are stopping them from making them a reality. I want you to think about what do you think the problem could be? Just ponder it. Like, why haven't I brought some of these goals that I have into reality? And I'll give you a couple of things that I see. So what I see is that when people are looking to set their goals, they do a mix of 4 things. The first thing that I see a lot of people do is the set and forget method. It is something that is tried and true, and no one's looking. So if you want to raise your hand or just recognize that you've done it before, where you write down a goal and you're like, this is the year. This is the year I'm going to exercise more. This is the year I'm finally going to leave my job. This is the year that I'm going to start a new career, maybe eat healthier, wake up earlier. I'm going to make it happen. And then we go through the whole year of 2022, let's say, and then 2023 is right around the corner, and you go to look back at that New Year's resolution that you made, and it's the same. That's probably a problem. We should figure that out, and we will tonight. The next thing that I see that's a problem for people is that there is no plan. For instance, if you are looking to do something like one of the people brought up in the last mastermind about starting a side hustle. And they were like, yep, I want to have a business for creating, she's creating an Etsy business, and she wants to have it created by February 1st. But there were no tangible steps that she actually had to make that plan or bring that plan into fruition. So if you don't have a plan, it makes it a lot harder for you to achieve your goal. The next problem that I see is from my fellow ambitious people who set a bunch of goals. And I think this is a pretty common thing. Like January 1st rolls around and it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up an hour earlier. I'm going to work out every single morning, 7 days a week. I'm going to drink a green smoothie every single day. I'm going to go to bed earlier, and I'm going to read a book every day, or something just crazy out there. And when you have a plethora of goals that you set at one time, what happens is your brain gets stuck in decision fatigue and overwhelm. And there's no way that you'd be able to accomplish your goals at this time. The other problem that I see is people who have a little bit of perfectionist tendencies, and they take forever just to get started. They're looking for things to be perfect instead of just getting the first step out there. And that can happen for a variety of reasons, but a common one that I think people have issues with is there is a right and a wrong decision. So when you keep thinking that there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, it's going to leave you feeling very overwhelmed and confused about where to start. So why this doesn't work is having a goal. Let's say it's eating healthier. That's very vague. There is no way for you to actually track your progress for eating healthier. It is just, oh, yep, I just want to eat healthier. It's not a certain amount of times. There's no way for you to have a clear start point and a clear end point. There's no difference between like the way that you're eating right now and let's say the way you define as eating healthier, because it's not, your objectives are not clearly stated, which I know that might sound like commonplace, but when they're too vague, your brain makes it a big deal and it will never accomplish the goal. The other thing that is missing are milestones. How do you know you're making progress? Do you know where you want to be every single month if your goal is a goal that you want to accomplish by the end of 2022? If not, it's going to make it a lot harder for you to accomplish your goal. The other thing I mentioned previously is that goal overload. An overwhelmed and confused mind always says no. And that goes for many things, but it especially goes for goal setting, because if you are overwhelmed, you're never going to take the first step. And another thing about that perfectionist idea of, I'm deciding to start this goal, I need to make the right decision. I want you to picture someone who is trying and thinking about running a marathon, per se, let's say. So there are two people who are trying to run this marathon. Person one really wants to get it right. So they start reading books, they start listening to podcasts about it, they hire a personal trainer, they hire a physical therapist. These were all things I did, by the way, but in that situation, that person is just thinking and wasting all of their time and energy thinking. There is no action. Now imagine person two. They know they're going to need to make a plan, but they also know they need to actually physically start running. So they run a mile or two a day while they're doing the research. A little combo action. I mean, I'm not saying just run a mile every day and then say you're done, but you need to have a combination of both. And the best way to do it is by just getting started with the first right step. And we'll talk about ways to plan that. So, what is the solution? If we know that making goals that are vague and not having a timeline is kind of a problem, and not getting started is another problem, how do you actually create a process for you to achieve your goals? These are my 3 steps. That's why I created this. So the first thing that you need to do, and as I'm talking about this, I want you to start thinking right now, what is one goal, just one, that I want to work on for this, the purpose of this webinar? We're going to narrow it down for all the many amazing things that you want to accomplish. We're just going to focus in on one thing. Just for tonight, you can have other things, but just for tonight, think about one thing. And we're going to make that one thing that you're doing extremely clear and measurable. You will know exactly what to do to get this goal accomplished. Now, the 2 ways that I like to think about choosing that one thing are to think about one, something that could be potentially fairly easy to create different timelines and segment into different parts. The other thing is something that you might have a lot of mental drama around that you can bring to our coaching session. So start thinking about that right now. The next thing that you're going to do is we're going to plan it. So you are going to use something called the backward design process. We're going to start with the end in mind, and you're going to create milestones and solutions for problems in advance. And the last thing you're going to do is we are going to execute. You're going to schedule a literal set time within the next week or 2 that you are going to put on your calendar, and we are going to get it done. So, why this works? This is something that I have done with my clients to help them leave jobs. This is actually the process that I went through to leave my career and start this business. This is something that people have been starting side businesses with, things that people have started working out more with. This process, it works every single time. And the reason why this works is you are able to set deliberate steps. You can see a clear process, and you know exactly what you need to do every quarter, every month, every week. It's very simple. Now, simple is different than easy. Just keep that in mind. Just because it is something that is simple to do doesn't always mean that it's exactly easy to understand. Now, again, it is simple, but here are the skills that you're going to need to actually make your goal accomplished. The first thing is the ability to focus. And I want you, as I'm reading these, I want you to think about which of these skills, just one, just focus on one, do you really need to work on to achieve your goal? So the first one is focus, the ability to actually constrain, because I know you're going to have lots of goals. You're going to want to exercise. You're going to want to find a new job. You're going to want to declutter your house. You're going to need to, as soon as you set one goal, all of these other goals are going to come up. So your ability to focus in on one goal is a skill that you're going to need throughout this process. The next thing you're going to need to do is have a little bit of courage. This one goes out to all of my fellow perfectionists, and the courage to actually get started and know that you might mess up, and that's okay. I think it's a Wayne Gretzky quote. So hockey fan, this is for you. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So with that being said, you got to have the courage to take that shot and miss, but you're going to keep going until you get that goal. The next thing is a little bit of resilience. You guys are going to need to be resilient, because when things don't go exactly as planned or you fail at an attempt of your goal, it doesn't feel great. I wish it did. I wish it did give us like a hit of dopamine and it just felt awesome. But I think a lot of people have the misconception that achieving your goals feels fantastic. And if you look at all of these skills and these emotions that you need to have, none of them feel like sunshine and daisies. Wish it did. But having that level of resilience and that ability to fall and get back up again, and the faster you can fall and the faster you can get back up again, the better you'll do. The other thing is dedication. Another thing, when you fall, if you don't make your goal, if you come up a little bit short, it is such a tempting feeling to quit. I want you to consider something. When you think about quote unquote failure, that is a concept that is very much a societal issue because we think that failure is something that's bad. It's something that's instilled into us from our generations in the school system, which I would love to improve and I'm working on, but we feel like failure means something so terrible about us, and society backs it up with a lot of consequences. Here's the problem. In our education system, we have A's that mean perfection the first time, and F's. A's are good, F's are bad. In the school of life, those two things switch. The most successful people in the world, and I've read books, listened to podcasts by so many of them, is their ability to be dedicated to their goal and never quit, which means a lot of failure. They fail, they learn, they fail, they learn, they fail, they learn, and then they succeed. The better you can get at that cycle, the faster you're going to be able to grow every single time. So that ability to be dedicated is knowing that the only way you truly fail is if you quit. So if you can stay dedicated to your one goal, it's going to make a huge change. The last thing is being flexible. So this pandemic is not something that anyone has ever seen coming. When you have your goal, things are going to happen. People might get sick. There might be issues with life circumstances come up that are outside of our control. So you've got to be flexible and know that it doesn't mean anything about you, and an augment and a change in the plan is just going to help you get faster and faster to where you need to go. So these skills don't feel great. I hear you and you're like, Megan, I actually don't know if this webinar is what I was looking for. I'm not sure if I actually want to achieve my goal. But here is why I want to urge you to set any goal, whether it is big or small in your mind. Here is why it's so important for you to set and achieve your goals. It isn't about the goal itself. It's not just about the goal that you are setting tonight. It's about the compound result that becoming the kind of person who is a goal achiever creates in your life. The first thing is ease. If you can achieve the goal that you set tonight, let's say the goal is waking up an hour earlier. If you can achieve that goal, and then you set maybe the next goal, it is to maybe eat healthier, and then you achieve that goal. And then maybe the next one is to exercise more, and you achieve that one. And then the next one is to maybe start a small business, and you achieve that one. It creates ease in this process of setting goals. You become the kind of person that achieving your goals is just a part of who you are. And it feels easier every single time that you do this process. It gets better and better each time. So no matter what your goal is, try one tonight and start creating that for yourself, that level of ease. The next thing that's kind of cool is when you achieve this goal. Again, let's go back to the waking up a little bit earlier. You also develop this thought that I'm the kind of person that does what I put my mind to. So it'll start to transition to other areas. Maybe it's just getting your budget done. It's oh yeah, I'm the kind of person who gets things done. So you just start to budget things well. And maybe in your relationship, you start to show up in a different way. And then when you are maybe showing up for your work, you just start showing up as the kind of person with a new level of confidence that you won't see coming. And if you are the kind of person who starts achieving their goals, it's going to transition to every other aspect of your life. The next thing is a skill that we're going to be learning tonight is this skill of foresight. It's this ability to see ahead and see, This might not work out the first time. Something that we talked about in the last webinar was when there is a plan to go on a walk outside, and it rains. You're developing foresight tonight, and you're gonna be like, okay, even if the weather is funky, maybe I could have another couple of videos or workout videos that are on demand that I can watch and do that instead. So you're solving for problems ahead of time by developing this level of foresight. You also become the kind of person who gets things done. So I want you to think about, if you go through and you plan your goal and you go through and you are working through each step of the process, what happens is you are like, oh, I'm just going to get this done. And there's no mental drama around it. I like to think about this because I did end up running a marathon. And the first time I went for a run, there was so much mental drama around it. I was like, oh my gosh, I hate running. This is terrible. Why did I decide to do this? This is awful. And it was a battle every moment for, let's say, the first like 3 weeks to like 2 months, if we're being really honest. And I trained for it for a whole year. But after I got used to it, then I just became the kind of person that's like, oh yeah, I just have to get my run done. And there started being less and less mental drama between me and my goal. It's kind of awesome. The other cool thing is you're not going to waste time and energy anymore. Things that have been on your to-do list, things that you've been thinking about, you're like, oh, I could get that done. And you start using your energy and time effectively and efficiently. The last thing is you're going to generate some momentum. My friend Wes says inertia, which I love that word. I think it's so appropriate because it does feel like this inertia, this momentum that you end up creating in your life, a forward focus, and it starts to, again, translate to everywhere. Because, and I have at the bottom, is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you can start applying this to one area of your life, the ripple effect is going to be prevalent. So let's get started applying this to your goals. Now, some people in the last webinars, they've been doing things like traveling more throughout this year. Another person has picked drinking less. That was another goal. So I want you to think about either a goal that might be simple or a goal that, again, like I said before, that could be really difficult and bring up a lot of mind drama. And we are going to follow along on the worksheet together. And I'm going to put it in the chat for everybody one more time. So if you click on the chat box, you should be able to see it. So moving right along. How do you set your goals? Remember, the 3 set steps are set, plan, execute. So we are in step number 1, setting it. When you write out your goal, there are 2 things that you need to do for your goal. You need to make it measurable. So if you were thinking about, and I need to change this, January 1st has come and gone. Surprise, it's going to be more like February 1st. So I'm going to be moved out of my condo by February 1st. It is measurable because it is, I'm literally going to have given the keys over to the next person who is inhabiting the condo and or my realtor. And there is a timeline associated with it. So think about something that is a goal that you have. And I want you to push yourself to the point where it feels a little bit like my another fellow coach, Peter Shaw. He says, if it's scary and exciting, it's a good thing. So something that makes you feel a little nervous inside, like, this is going to push me to grow, but it's going to help you get there. So go ahead in your worksheet where it says timeline and measurable, write the timeline. I would write February 1st, and measurable, moved out of condo. And then I'm going to write that goal in present tense. I will move out of my condo by January 1st, 2022. Now, that I will statement is actually insanely powerful. I know that you might be thinking, okay, this is just semantics, but there are so many studies that go to show if you write a goal down, and there's a quote that says, like, a goal that's written down or once you write a dream down, it becomes a goal, something like that. I'm butchering that quote. But when you write it down, it actually sets the goal into motion in your mind and you start thinking about ways to make it work. So, and when you say that goal to yourself every single day, like I literally pictured myself running my marathon every morning when I woke up, even days I didn't go running. And if you continue to do that, it's going to happen. Now, step 2 in the process is to make your plan. So even though we are only doing this webinar for an hour, I would love to plan in depth every single person's exact steps. This is more so an overview so that when you have some more time on your own, you can start to put your full plan in. And who knows, maybe you could get your plan done tonight. I'm ambitious. I think that's possible. So the first thing that you're going to do is that backwards design process. I want you to think about the last day of your goal. For me, another goal that I accomplished was doing national boards. So every day I pictured myself seeing that, congratulations, you finished national boards. I pictured that every single day. And I started at that point and I thought about what I would need to do, all the points, but between finishing the goal and where I was day one. And when you start at the end, give yourself a little bit of buffer room because as you guys can see, I was supposed to be moved out by January 1st and the pandemic has happened and that was unexpected. So, or the pandemic, I mean like Omicron has happened. And so it has pushed back plans a little bit. So you got to be flexible, but start with the end in mind. The next thing you're going to do are create milestones. You're going to break down your goal into either quarterly, monthly, or weekly milestones. So in that Google Doc, there's a place that says quarterly, monthly, and weekly. And I'm going to give you examples of this. This is just a broad overview. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to create accomplishable steps for each milestone. So think about a way that you can reward yourself at every single point in your process. As you're doing this, I want you to leave that buffer time and think about some problems that might come up and how you could solve them right now. Like that, planning the workouts in advance, that is a great one. Making sure that you are solving for those problems before they even arise. The next thing is rewarding yourself. A lot of us only mark our progress and our achievements when we hit the finish line. But there are so many points where you actually grow along the way. And it's so important to celebrate those little moments where you are changing and growing and developing as a person. So think about rewards that you could do. I was a teacher, so we would try and stay away from tangible things like toys that we would give the students that I would have. So thinking about okay, maybe I could watch a movie with a good friend. Maybe I could get my nails done. Maybe I could have a celebratory drink with some friends. Whatever those things are for you, give yourself little rewards along the way. So it doesn't feel like every single time that you're going towards your goal, if you're not crossing the finish line, it isn't a win because every single week there are going to be wins. The last thing is to be flexible. Again, I have failed with my goal already. Check off the list. I have not moved out of my condo by January 1st, but I'm going to rebound quickly. And I was like, all right, it didn't work out this month. We're going to go to the next one. And I want you to keep learning from your failures and keep going. Never give up. So here is how I broke down condo move out. So I've changed it from Q4 to Q1, where I'm going to move out of the condo in this quarter. Now, monthly, I'm re-condoing the house. I'm in the process of it and staging it for the showing. So when people come through the condo, it's going to look great in the month of January. Weekly, I'm going to purge and pack. So that's going to be that very last week in January. I'm going to make sure that I'm getting everything done. I'm in town this week. Next week, I'm out of town. And so week 4, Literally, I'm going to be packing up the condo to make sure that everything is out of there that I want to keep. And then everything that is there, we are either going to sell to the next owner or we are going to get rid of. And I have here, if tonight you could focus on an individual goal, but at this point is when you would be delegating tasks to other people. Oh, I don't want to do that. Thank you. Technology. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to be doing is the execution. So we have set our goals. We have made some sort of loose plan. And I want you to actually on that document, think about, okay, what's one step I could think? You don't need to plan out every single week, every month, every quarter. If you don't have that yet, just start to think about it. But tonight, here is the most important thing is I want you to pick an actual weekly result that you can create either this week or next. So I want you to choose when you're going to accomplish your goals of this week. So today I purged all of my clothes from my large dresser and I have the bathrooms organized. Every single toiletry, every toothpaste, every nail polish, everything like that all has its place and it's ready for the move. Tomorrow, I am packing up the entire kitchen. And I did it exactly in these time periods, by the way. So today from 2 to 3, I purged my clothes at 4 to 5, I organized the bathrooms. And it's so cool because the people who've been here for all 3 of these webinars, you guys have seen me go through every single step in this process. And I'm on the final stretch tomorrow. This kitchen and shed, that is literally it. And then I am done. It is ready to be staged. And then I'm going to need to pack it all up and bring it over to either this house or Winston. But it's still so cool because you guys have seen every single step in this process. And I'm going to absolutely share pictures with you once I've actually moved out of the condo. So you might be thinking, how could I possibly know it was only going to take an hour to organize the bathroom? Here's the thing. I didn't. I had no idea. But I knew that if I set that time for myself, 4 to 5, I knew that I would aim for that and I would try my best to get it done. So what I do is in between those times, I set a timer and then I set a stopwatch. So I had 3 large things of like toiletries to go through. And so I set a 10-minute timer for each. And I went through them as fast as I could, threw out things that were expired, went through things, organized them, took everything out and then put it back in. And I was timing myself every single time. And I made it kind of like a race. And if you can make things like this fun and exciting, it makes the task less arduous. So it's pretty cool. So with that being said, set your goals high and don't stop till you get there. And that's a quote by Bo Jackson. So like I mentioned before, this is literally the same exact process. These 3 steps distilled down are the process that I have taught my clients to literally leave their jobs. They've started new jobs, gotten a 40K pay increase, which is so cool. Another client got a 20K pay increase. Another client made 6K in 2 days, and another client has made 7K in 7 days for these first 7 days of 2022. It's kind of crazy. So this exact process, and also they have stopped over drinking, created better relationships with their parents, with their spouse, like started relationships, moved cities. Like 2 actually clients moved to New York City using this process. It is something that you can use time and time again for every single goal that you want to accomplish. So with that being said, once you set a goal, your brain's gonna freak out. I can guarantee it. Like for the moving out of my condo example that I've been harping on, oh my goodness, the amount of mind drama that I've experienced trying to move out of this condo has been enormous. Like, I don't want to do this right now. It's too late. Oh my goodness, not another drawer, not another, like I have so many like little things around the house. And they're driving me insane, and all of these old things from teaching. And so I have so much mind drama when it comes to moving out of my condo that can stop me from doing the actual actions I need to actually move out. And I know that's coming up for you, especially if you set some really big, lofty goals. I know that your brain is probably going to freak out. And so I'm giving everyone who attends this a free goal coaching session. A lot of people say that this concept that I teach in the goal coaching session is one of their favorite things that they ever learn in all of coaching. Like Emily Mathura, she was a person that I interviewed last week. What I teach in this goal coaching session, she said, is the one thing that has significantly changed her year. And it's really learning how to manage your mind in setting big goals like this for yourself. So I really wanted to offer that to everyone who attends this call. It is just a really fun thing to learn, and it's going to be one-on-one. It'll be on Zoom. I will record it and I will send you the recording, and it's really going to help you to go that extra mile to get to your goal. And I'm awesome. What I said at the bottom here, I'm really, really great at physical timing. Like if you want me to break down minute by minute what your goal is, I helped someone, they wanted to read the Book of Mormon. So I was like, all right, let's Google how many pages. It's 539 pages. Divided that by the 32 days that he wanted to read this book by. And I was like, okay, that's 16 pages a day, 4 pages every 15 minutes. You're going to set a timer and you're going to read through that book. I'm really good at doing that kind of stuff. I love figuring out simple systems and things like that. So we could spend the coaching session doing that. But I think it's more powerful to learn how to manage your mind around your goal. So make the most out of it. Choose whatever you want, and I'm happy to help you along the way. Now, if you're thinking about your goal of 2022, my goal in doing this webinar is that just doing this webinar, just by coming tonight and understanding those 3 steps, it's going to get you 1/3 of the way there. I know that it will. Because no one ever actually teaches you that you need to actually make a plan, think with the end in mind. No one teaches you how to set something that's like very clear and measurable. That's not something we talk about. And when I literally looked up New Year's resolutions, it was like, eat healthier, wake up earlier, just crazy vague things. And I know that just by knowing that tonight is going to shift the way you show up for your goals. So that's my result that I hope you achieve from this webinar. But by giving you the goal coaching session, I want to give you 2/3 of the way there. I want to give you the mindset. I want to give you any mental blockages. I want to teach you how to prevent those from happening and get out of your own way so you can actually accomplish your goals. But the last thing, if you really want to make your goals inevitable, is by doing the Career Fulfillment Initiative. That's coaching with me. Because here's the thing, I think in any person's development, there are 3 aspects to a coaching program and at least creating your goals that make it effective. There's education, which is what we're doing tonight. I'm teaching you the actual tactical skills. Then there's application, which is the mindset call. That's the 30-minute coaching session. And then there's one-on-one support. Imagine working with me every single week to get your goal done. It's inevitable. Like one of my clients is writing a book and I'm like, he wants it done in 6 weeks. I'm like, we can get it done or 6 months. And I'm like, we're probably going to get it done in 5. Like, I just know how it works. And I'm like, if you show up and you do everything that we're saying right now, you've got that book written, which is so cool to say. I love that. But that's not all that I do. That's not all the only thing that's in this Career Fulfillment Initiative. I know that fulfillment is a really big process. It's a concept that is difficult to guarantee. So I thought about the 5 things that would take you from the life that you're living now to feeling truly fully fulfilled and enjoying your career and your life. So here are the 5 that I came up with, and I can absolutely help you fix. Our burnout. I can teach you systems and processes to overcome any areas of dissatisfaction you have in your work, whether that's with your relationships, whether that's overwhelm. I got you. The next thing is creating your long-term plan. Every single one of my clients, they get a 10-year plan. For me, I'll be 37 and it'll be 2020 through 32. where do you see yourself? If you don't know, coaching with me is pretty cool and I can help you get there. The next thing is creating work-life balance. I'm going to teach you how to set boundaries. I'm going to teach you how to cut out things that aren't necessary so you can actually enjoy the things that you're doing. Because so many of us say yes to so many things, especially if you're a high achiever. And a lot of the times it becomes a bit of a problem. The other thing is creating that time management. Like I said, when it comes to timing, I'm really good at that kind of stuff. And I've processes to help you to make your system, make your calendar. I posted a couple pictures of mine and it's a little aggressive, a little color coded, but Monday hour 1 and Friday hour done are 2 systems that I will teach you to help you revolutionize your productivity. It's the best. And the last thing is creating confidence, because I think that so many times we look for confidence outside of ourselves and we think, like if I achieve this goal, I'm going to then be confident. I actually teach you how to generate your confidence before you achieve the goal. It's part of the way that I help you shift your mindset. So, and that helps with rejection, imposter syndrome, all those things. So if you were interested, I will be sending out links in the future so you can sign up for a consult call. We will talk about your goals and it's pretty cool. So friends, fam, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope this cleared the air for any ways for you to achieve your goal. Do you have any questions? That's it.
Hey, Megan, this is Vicki in Chattanooga,
Hi.
Tennessee. I just wanted to tell you, I'm making a move like 9 hours from my house.
Yes.
And like, I've been freaking out. And when you said about like just breaking it down very, very specifically, like it would take me longer than you did in your bathroom, but just when you talked about breaking it down to really specific time frames, like I think I tend to get really overwhelmed and kind of walk away from the project and stuff. So like your advice about setting really specific, very, very specific goals about certain areas of the house and stuff. Like I've lived in this house for a long time and there's a lot of stuff and a lot of purging. And so what I did was I set from this session, I set up a goal of when I would get the charity company to come, when the handyman would come, when I'd get quotes from the movers, like when I would try and get some of the stuff even maybe moved on my own, like because the move is so big. So I really want to thank you for being so like giving such specific examples, because that really, really helped me.
Oh my
So
gosh, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Literally anytime. Do you mind if I help you? Like, did you write down like specifics about like?
Yeah, I
certain-
did. I wrote down like, you
Yes.
know, dates and stuff like for when I want to get like, yeah, very specific things. So I did do that, but I would like to talk to you some more about this because I want to get it executed like kind of like you. I want to be kind of aggressive. So
Yes.
yeah.
Well,
So thanks.
I said
Yeah,
that
sorry.
really aggressively. I was like, yes, of
Yeah.
course, like we are going to get it done. But yes, for sure. Like, and set up that like 30-minute goal coaching session. I got you.
Okay. I would
Yeah.
love to do that. Thank you so much.
Of course. Does anyone else have any questions, comments, ideas?
Yes, Megan. I was wondering if
Yeah.
I could set up a meeting with you to work on another goal that I want to set. And
Absolutely.
also, I just wanted to find out from you when the next webinar is going to be. Once you schedule that, would you mind, if you don't mind, sending me an email with a Zoom meeting? That'll be great. I would
Oh
love
my
to
gosh.
come in. Yeah, I would love to come into these Zoom meetings also. And also, I know you told us that we get a free consult call. Does that mean that we can use it whenever we want? So like, could it be sometime this week or sometime next week, I guess, or within
sure.
the next 2 weeks?
I would say the next 2 weeks would be awesome. And you just brought up a really good point. Thank you so much, Shinton. I just dropped in the chat that free 30-minute coaching session. So if you want to
Okay.
go ahead and sign up now, as I'm like talking to anyone else through any questions or concerns,
Okay.
that would be awesome.
Okay. So you just put the link in the chat. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
of course. Thank you for asking.
Megan,
Yeah.
I had something you said really hit home with me, and that was mind drama. You might not be shocked to hear that from me, but just like the mind drama, because it goes back to like fear, the fear of doing it, the fear, and where I get stuck, where I call it being stuck.
Yeah.
I never thought of it as mind drama. That was really a helpful term for me. So thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, of course. And I think that one of the things, there are three or at least two emotions that I would associate with being stuck. And those are confusion and overwhelm. So when you're feeling those two emotions, like I'm sure everyone has experienced when you're setting a goal like this, confusion of where to start and overwhelm with there's so many different options and so many different paths to take. So there are three ways that I actually combat being stuck. And actually, someone mentioned that, and I did a podcast with Cam about it this week, which is cool. So the three things that I end up doing are creating decisions. So it's just deciding and going. There's actually, I went to NC State for those of you that don't know, and our slogan now is think and do. And I think that's so appropriate. If you can just think and make a decision and go, you are going to move so much faster than the person who is trying to be perfectionist and try and figure things out. The next thing I like to do is to cut out some things that aren't necessary. I would love to write a book. I've considered it myself. I would also love to get involved in public speaking and do a bunch of different events. There are so many ideas that I have, but I have to constrain and commit to the certain things that are going to move me forward in the moment. So I have to cut out all the unnecessary things. And then the third thing I like to do, so it's make decisions quickly, cut out things that aren't necessary, and then cut back. So maybe let's say I used to spend 2 hours learning. I'm in a mastermind next week. So I would spend 2 hours learning and consuming information, which was great. But with my schedule this week, that wasn't going to work. So I had to cut back on my consumption time to an hour. So I'm still consuming, but it's just not in the huge time period that I was doing before. So doing those three things, making decisions quickly and efficiently, cutting back and cutting things out, hopefully will help you get you out of that stuck area that you might be in. So I hope that helps. But yeah, that was the webinar, everybody. I thank you so much for coming. This is the last time I'm doing it, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Like people have been alluding to, I think the next webinar I'm going to do is going to be on time management. So I was talking about that system Monday hour 1 to make your calendar. So I'm thinking that's what the next one is going to be, but I haven't decided on a date just yet. I'm still thinking about it. So if that's something that you're interested in, it sounds like a lot of you guys are, which is so cool. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If you have a topic that you would like for me to do a webinar on, also let me know about that too. I love coaching and solving problems. So if you're like, this is a situation where I'm confused and I need some help, let me know. I can help you problem solve. But yeah, that's it, everybody. I hope you, and we are finishing 8 minutes early. So time integrity after teaching yoga for years is something that's so important for me. So I hope you guys just have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Sign up for those coaching sessions. I'm going to put it one last time in the chat if you missed it. And I'm going to send a replay with this video, with the notes, with the Acuity link to sign up for coaching. So if you don't get the Acuity link, you're totally good. But that is it, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I will hopefully see all of you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Of course. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye, Megan. Have a good night.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.